Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and collectible American coins of all time, the Washington quarter dollar. This incredible coin has not only become a staple of U.S. currency, but also a treasure chest for collectors and investors around the world due to its rich history, fascinating design changes, minting errors, and some extraordinary auction prices that have shocked even the most experienced numismatists. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of the first President of the United States, George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse of the coin features a bold and elegant portrait of Washington facing left, with the word Liberty inscribed above his head, the phrase In God We Trust beside him, and the year of minting displayed below. The reverse originally depicted an eagle with outstretched wings perched upon a bundle of arrows, symbolizing both peace and readiness for war, surrounded by olive branches representing unity and strength. Over time, the Washington quarter evolved into one of the most beautifully diverse series in U.S. coinage, with numerous design updates such as the bicentennial quarter in 1976 that featured a special colonial drummer reverse, and later, the 50-state quarters program that began in 1999, celebrating each U.S. state with its own unique design, making collecting quarters an exciting national hobby for millions. From its silver composition in early years, 1932 to 1964, to the copper-nickel-clad coins that followed, every change in the Washington quarter series tells a story of America's economic, cultural, and artistic journey through time. Now, when we talk about the real excitement for collectors, it's not just about owning a piece of history, it's about discovering those rare and valuable coins that could be worth a fortune. For instance, the 1932 D and 1932 S Washington quarters are two of the rarest in the entire series because of their low mintage. Only around 436,800 for the Denver Mint and 408,000 for the San Francisco Mint, which makes them highly sought after today. A well-preserved example of the 1932 D Washington quarter in mint state condition can fetch thousands of dollars, with some MS-66 graded pieces selling for more than $25,000 at auction. Similarly, the 1932 S coin in pristine condition has crossed $20,000 depending on the market demand and grade. But what really fuels collector passion are the dramatic minting errors and variations that occurred during the production of these coins, and some of these have skyrocketed in value beyond imagination. One such example is the 1943 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet intended for another denomination. This type of off-metal error can bring in tens of thousands at major auctions. There are also double die varieties like the famous 1942 D double die obverse, where details on Washington's profile or lettering show strong doubling visible to the naked eye, making them extremely collectible. The proof issues, particularly those produced at the San Francisco Mint in the mid-20th century, also add a layer of prestige to the Washington quarter series. Collectors often pay a premium for deep cameo contrast proofs where Washington's frosted portrait stands out dramatically against the mirrored background. Moving forward in history, the 1950s and 1960s brought subtle changes to the minting techniques and metal compositions, especially the 1964 transition from 90% silver to the copper-nickel-clad alloy in 1965, a shift that reflected the rising cost of silver and changing economic realities. This transition also led to some accidental mint errors, such as the famous 1965 silver quarter, which should not have existed, yet a few were struck on leftover 1964 silver planchets. One of these 1965 silver Washington quarters sold for over $7,000 at auction, making it one of the most talked-about transitional errors in modern numismatics. As we move into later decades, the 1976 bicentennial quarter became a cultural phenomenon, as it featured a unique two-date design, 1776 to 1976, and a colonial drummer on the reverse designed by Jack L. Ahr. While most bicentennial quarters are common and found in circulation, some struck in 40% silver and in high-grade proof condition can bring in several $100s today. In the 1980s and 1990s, the Washington quarter maintained its classic design but began to shift from a collector's coin to an everyday coin. Yet certain issues like the 1983 P Washington quarter became scarce in high grade because most were heavily circulated. A gem-quality 1983 P quarter can now fetch well over $1,000. The introduction of the 50-state quarters in 1999 revived massive public interest in coin collecting. Each coin showcased designs celebrating the heritage, culture, and landmarks of each state. Some of these modern issues have rare minting errors too, like the 2004 D Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf, both high leaf and low leaf varieties, which can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on the grade. In the modern collector's market, Washington quarters have continued to shine with the America the Beautiful series, introducing new reverse designs from 2010 through 2021, followed by the American Women Quarters program that began in 2022. Collectors now value not only vintage silver issues but also modern varieties with limited mintages, special finishes, and low population reports in top grades from PCGS and NGC. Now, when it comes to the highest auction prices ever recorded for Washington quarters, one of the standout examples is the 1932 D Washington quarter graded MS66 by PCGS that sold for an astonishing $143,750, a record that demonstrates just how valuable a near-perfect coin can become when it's tied to history and rarity. Another remarkable sale was a 1950 D Washington quarter with superb toning and flawless surfaces, which realized more than $15,000 at auction. Meanwhile, the rare proof strikes from 1936 to 1942 with deep cameo contrast have also brought impressive prices exceeding $10,000 each. The more recent modern errors like the double denomination strikes or off-center Washington quarters continue to fascinate collectors as they represent unique anomalies from the U.S. Mint. One of the most spectacular modern errors, a Washington quarter struck on a 5-cent nickel planchet, sold for nearly $4,000. Each of these examples highlights that whether you're holding a vintage silver Washington quarter from the 1930s or a modern era variety from the 2000s, your coin might be far more valuable than you think. The key factors that influence a quarter's value include its mint mark, year, condition, or grade, and of course, whether it contains any striking errors or rare die varieties. Collectors often use magnifying glasses to check for details like doubled lettering, repunched mint marks, or unusual planchet surfaces, and they rely on grading services like PCGS and NGC to authenticate and assign value. Beyond the monetary aspect, the Washington quarter dollar represents a beautiful timeline of American history and craftsmanship, from its silver shine of the early years to its modern-clad brilliance, from hand-engraved dies to computerized minting precision. Each piece tells a story, each variation adds depth, and every collector who holds one continues the legacy of a coin. The Washington quarter isn't just currency. It's a bridge between generations of collectors and a living symbol of the nation's pride, art, and economy. As we continue our deep dive into the remarkable world of the Washington quarter dollar, let's explore the modern collector market, era varieties, grading secrets, and some jaw-dropping values that these coins are achieving today. Even though the Washington quarter was designed almost a century ago, its impact continues to grow stronger with each generation of collectors, thanks to its beautiful design, constant evolution, and the stories embedded in each mint mark and error strike. To truly understand the value of any Washington quarter, you need to look beyond the date and mint mark. The condition, rarity, and type of strike all play a huge role in determining whether your coin is worth a few dollars or thousands. Collectors today are obsessed with high-grade examples, particularly those graded MS66 and higher by PCGS or NGC, as these grades represent coins with exceptional luster, sharp details, and almost no visible flaws. Even a small difference in grade, say, from MS65 to MS66, can sometimes double or triple the coin's value. For example, a 1940 Washington quarter in MS65 might fetch $150, while in MS67 it could bring in $2,000 or more. The importance of eye appeal also cannot be overstated. Coins with natural rainbow toning or brilliant luster often attract intense bidding wars, sometimes fetching 2 or 3 times the average market price. Another fascinating aspect for collectors is the hunt for minting errors and varieties that make the Washington quarter series so captivating. Among the most famous errors is the spitting eagle found on certain 1983 P quarters, where a die crack near the eagle's beak gives the illusion of the eagle spitting. This small detail can turn a common coin into a collectible worth $100 or more. Then there's the 1970 S Washington quarter struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter, one of the most spectacular minting errors in U.S. coinage history. This extraordinary piece combines 2 nations in one coin and has fetched prices over $35,000 at major auctions. Similarly, the 2005 Kansas quarter with the missing "In God We Trust" letters, appearing as "In God We Rust," caused quite a buzz when discovered and still brings in strong collector premiums today. The 2004 D Wisconsin quarter with the extra high leaf and low leaf varieties remains a hot item among error enthusiasts, with values ranging from $150 to over $1,000 depending on condition. Even modern coins can surprise you. For instance, the 2021 Washington crossing the Delaware quarters have started showing double dies and misaligned strikes, which are quickly gaining recognition in the hobby. These kinds of errors are not just accidents. They're pieces of minting history that escaped quality control, making them truly unique treasures for those lucky enough to find them. And speaking of treasures, the highest recorded auction prices for Washington quarters in recent years continue to impress. One of the top sales includes a 1932 D Washington quarter graded MS66 by PCGS, which sold for a breathtaking $143,750. This coin's rarity and condition make it the undisputed king of the series. Another example, a 1932 S in near-perfect condition, achieved over $40,000 at auction. Even coins from the 1950s and 1960s have seen record-breaking prices, especially when they display stunning color toning or perfect surfaces. Proof coins, particularly those with deep cameo contrast, also bring premium values. A 1950 proof quarter in PR69 deep cameo, for instance, sold for over $10,000, proving that even post-war coins can carry serious investment potential when in pristine condition. Collectors also pay close attention to the transition years, like 1964 and 1965, because of their role in shifting from silver to clad composition. Transitional errors, such as a 1965 Washington quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet, are now legendary among collectors. These coins are supposed to be copper-nickel, yet a handful were struck with leftover silver blanks from 1964, and one of these rare pieces recently sold for over $16,000. Another captivating example is the 1977 Washington quarter struck on a 40% silver bicentennial planchet, one of the strangest crossover mint errors ever discovered. Beyond the rarity and errors, what keeps the Washington quarter at the heart of coin collecting is its timeless appeal and the emotional connection people have with it. Generations of Americans have grown up using this coin in their daily lives, from vending machines and payphones to parking meters, and today, many of those same coins are rediscovered by collectors as pieces of national heritage. Even newer collectors entering the hobby through pocket change searches often start their journey with quarters, and before long, they find themselves hunting down mint marks, learning about varieties, and appreciating the artistry behind each design. When it comes to grading and preservation, proper handling and storage are key to maintaining your coin's value. Always hold your coins by the edges to avoid fingerprints, which can damage the surface and reduce their grade. Storing coins in acid-free holders, flips, or slabs keeps them safe from environmental damage. Collectors often use tools like magnifiers and coin microscopes to identify subtle varieties like double dyes, repunched mint marks, or weak strikes that may otherwise go unnoticed. Certification services like PCGS, NGC, and ANAX play a vital role in verifying authenticity and condition, giving both buyers and sellers confidence in market value. Coins with special designations like full head, deep cameo, or proof-like attract significant premiums. In fact, a Washington quarter designated full head refers to a coin where every detail of Washington's hair and features are sharply defined, reflecting superior striking quality. Another fascinating area is the modern collector sets issued by the U.S. Mint, such as silver proof sets, clad proof sets, and special uncirculated editions. Many collectors pursue these to complete their Washington quarter collections from every year and every mint. Among the state quarters, some standouts include the 1999 Delaware and Pennsylvania issues in high-grade proofs, which have been known to fetch several $100s. Another modern standout is the 2019 W Series, quarters bearing the W mint mark of the West Point Mint. These coins were released directly into circulation with very limited mintage, around 2 million per design, making them highly collectible and valuable from the moment they appeared. Even circulated examples often sell for $15 to $30, while pristine uncirculated or graded MS68 specimens can bring in hundreds of dollars each. The 2020 W Salt River Bay quarter, with its stunning design and limited availability, has become one of the most sought-after modern issues, often commanding prices well above face value. With the introduction of the American Women Quarter Series beginning in 2022, the U.S. Mint continued the Washington obverse tradition but introduced fresh reverse designs. That quarter in your hand might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching.